Good morning. Oh, I love that. Thank you. Now I know how Ellen DeGeneres feels. Well, sort of. Just saying. Don't start. Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Northern Nevada, where it is our mission to grow together in love, faith, justice, and joy. We here at UUFNN believe that by being and working together, we can bring about justice and build a compassionate community. We welcome all to be part of us, regardless of racial identity, ethnic background, age, economic circumstances, educational achievement, judicial history, immigration status, mental health status, sexual orientation, or gender identity. UUFNN is about compassion and support, not judgment. I'm JJ Lee, and it is my pleasure to serve as your worship associate this morning. We at UUFNN love having new people join us for worship, and if that's you, feel free to contact the office or go to our website for more information. If you're online, you can click on the link in the chat box to fill out the newcomer form and sign up for our newsletter that will keep you informed of all the activities here at UUFNN. For those meeting with us on Zoom, please update your name on screen to help everyone know who you are, and feel free to use the chat box for comments, especially during the prayer and meditation session. Folks on Zoom are invited at the end of our service into small groups for coffee hour, where we break into small groups to visit virtually face-to-face. Wherever you are worshiping from today, thank you for being with us this morning.
How wonderful it is to be together in this space, whether on Zoom or together in this room on this beautiful Sunday morning, with the invitation that wherever we are on life's journey, whatever it is that we bring, whatever it is that we're feeling and going through, all of that is welcome in this space. Nothing needs to be left at the door. So often there are things going on the inside that we cannot see on the outside. And by the mystery that is connection and community, and from my perspective, often the miraculous connection that is community, we are buoyed and strengthened and nurtured. And that is our invitation this morning, to come fully present to that possibility and eventuality. I'm going to invite members of our Religious Education Committee to join me. I want to thank you, our congregation, for your generosity of contributing this array of tools of the trade for students as they begin a new student year. Grayson, you're welcome to come up too if you would like. And so these school supplies and backpacks are going to be given to the Women and Children's Center of the Sierra so that all students will have the opportunity to have a brand new backpack and the supplies and tools that they need for a successful school year. So I'm going to ask you to join us in whatever way you do that, extend your energy forward to bless all that has been contributed for the students who are starting a new school year. And Grayson, this includes you for your school year. And metaphorically, it includes any of us who are embarking on a new beginning of any sort. If you brought contributions today, you're welcome to bring those forward at this time to contribute for the Women and Children's Center of the Sierra, for the students in our neighborhood. Wonderful, thank you. That's awesome. It's fantastic. Thank you for your generosity. And so let us take a moment and bless this effort and these material goods which represent our students' school year in our neighborhood. And so we send out our love and our energy to all those students in this time of new beginning, that they will be safe and protected, that they will feel included, that they will have the opportunity to learn and be successful, that they would know that they are special and that they are unique, and that they need not feel that they fit to be important and valued, and that they would somehow receive that message that they are valued and important. May each student have what they need this year in terms of the opportunity to learn, for education, and to be included and feel that they belong. And so we give thanks for the Women and Children's Center of the Sierra providing resources to so many who otherwise would not have what they need. And so we give thanks for a new school year, for teachers, administration, all those who give of their gifts on behalf of those who are growing and learning. Blessed be, and amen.
Those of you on Zoom, this is a time for you to join us with your own chalice if you have one. I'm going to invite Jackie to come up to be our chalice lighter. And I'm going to wreck this name, just warning you. Jean Vanier says that one of the marvelous things about community is that it enables us to welcome and help people in a way we couldn't as individuals. When we pull our strength and share the work and responsibility, we can welcome many people, even those in deep distress, and perhaps help them find self-confidence and inner healing. While I'm up here, I'd like you to join me at this time in our service when we have the opportunity to share our bounty with each other. It is through the generosity and dedication of all of us here at the UUFNN that we are self-sufficient. By each of us stepping forward and offering what we can, we provide a support for all that we do for each other and the wider community. Please share what bounty you can today by texting 73256, that's 73256, type UUFNN in the message box, and hit send. You can also mail a check to the office at 780 Del Monte Lane, Reno 89511, or if you want to simplify the process, you can sign up for automatic giving. Contact Carol at the office for the authorization form. We share the plate this August to benefit the Northern Nevada International Center. The NNIC resettles displaced people who are seeking security and safety. Currently, the NNIC is assessing the situation in Ukraine and providing funds to organizations that are working to address the needs of Ukrainians in peril. In addition, since December of 2021, NNIC has provided assistance to over 150 Afghan refugees. UUFNN has provided a cadre of dedicated and responsive volunteers who work with these families in a variety of ways. The volunteers commit to an ultimate goal of helping Reno's new citizens reach self-sufficiency. Our contributions assist families to reach this goal by providing funding for furnishings, rent, groceries, household goods, school supplies, transportation, and other necessities. Thank you for your contribution to these efforts. Now let the offering begin. Please join me as we bless these offerings. To the work of this fellowship, which is helping more people grow in love, faith, justice, and joy, we dedicate ourselves and these offerings.
Indeed, we shall be known by the company that we keep, shall we not? As a Unitarian Universalist congregation, we are part of a larger body of over 1,000 UU congregations which make up the Unitarian Universalist Association. And just as human beings, we cannot be an island and be alone and function in a healthy way by ourselves. The same is true for congregations. We need each other. We need our sibling congregations. We need the national body for support and inspiration and direction and resources. And part of the way that we do that is every June, all of the congregations and the national body gather several thousand people for General Assembly in a city somewhere in the U.S. This past June, that happened in Portland, Oregon, and we had several folks who attended who were going to share a little bit about their experience with that today. One of the most wonderful ways to keep in contact with Unitarian Universalism is to attend a General Assembly, either in person or online. And as you know, I had planned to go and had to change my plans to be with my folks in South Carolina during that time. And so we're so grateful to Jackie Reilly, Stephane Rector, Ciumara Rodriguez, and Adrienne Fisher, who will be sharing today of their experiences so that you can be enlightened about our connection with the larger body that is Unitarian Universalism. It's never easy to stand up here and share with peers. It takes courage, and some of what you'll hear today is the truth of the reality of the experience, some very positive, some not so much, for different reasons and in different ways. And so it takes courage, but we are a place where we speak our truth, are we not? And so we hold this container together of speaking our truth and sharing of our experiences in a way that is real.
Oh, this feels so different and good. I'm Jackie Reilly. Good morning. Karen asked us to share what was worthwhile, inspiring, meaningful, surprising, and what fell short. I've been so lucky to go to GA many times, fortunate to be able to do that. At first, this GA was so different than previous GAs. Not as many people were there. The crowd, you used to be able to tell at the airport when the UUs were in town. Do you know how? All the tie-dye. It was everywhere. I drove, but even at GA, there just weren't as many of us. The energy wasn't there, and I missed that. But what hasn't been different since COVID 2.5 years ago started? I was disappointed and a little bit sad. But that said, overall, I felt like it was very inspiring and worth my time, very worthwhile. I went to some sessions, including one talk by Norris. Anybody know who that is? Mary does, who's on Zoom there with us. Some of you know. He's the author of Defund Fear. Our UUFNN Anti-Racist Reflection Group had just read that book, and it was so cool and exciting to meet him and talk to him, and to hear him talk. Much of what he said during the talk is also in his book, including the concept that we can create a beloved community by working for jobs, not jails, books, not bars, healthcare, not handcuffs, and restorative justice. And remembering as we do social justice work to keep in mind the concept of nothing about us without us. Our society's messages are often to be afraid, and we don't need to be afraid of our neighbors. If you haven't read his book, I recommend it. The Where lecture is always a highlight at GA. It's been going on, I can't remember, I looked it up, close to 100 years, over 100 years, I think. Yeah, only skipping it twice in that whole history. Some of the speakers over the years have included Cornel West, Naomi Klein, Stacey Abrams, Brian Stevenson, Eboo Patel, Shirley Chisholm, Morris Dees, Martin Luther King Jr., and so many more. This year, it was Ibram X. Kendi. I hope you know his name. He's the author of numerous books, including Stamped from the Beginning, 400 Souls, How to Be Anti-Racist, and many more. At his request, we had to go through TSA-type screening to get into the hall, which is so sad on so many levels, but he's had many threats on his life. It was well worth the wait, and the up and down the stairs and all around the convention center. This year, the lecture was a different format. It was a wonderful conversation between Reverend Dr. Susan Frederick Gray, our UU president, and Kendi. A couple of concepts that he mentioned that I think that are that while we may do something or say something that is racist, that doesn't make us a racist, which feels good, right? None of us wants to be called a racist. So I appreciated his nuance on that. Our behaviors and words might be racist, but we can be aware and we can change that. Each of us can grow and learn. Kendi had hoped not to have to talk with his young daughter about racism, at least not until she was a little bit older. But when he realized he needed to educate her to be anti-racist from the very beginning and very young age, he started writing books. I bought 2 of them recently, and I'll be giving them for our library or perhaps our RE program. All over the world, including the US, there are producers and consumers of racist ideas. We don't need to buy into those concepts. Also inspiring, in an odd way, was the day that Roe v. Wade was overturned. What was inspiring about it was being there with all those UUs. They found a room, we made signs, and we went to downtown Portland and had a rally. There were so many young people speaking there, it was awesome. I also met 2 members of the Tahoma UU congregation in Gig Harbor, Washington, near where one of our former members, Liz Motter, lives. And she was at GA with Adrienne and I, which was awesome to be with her. The Tahoma UU congregation offers a safe parking program. They invite the unhoused to live for the night, park in their parking lot. They provide a bathroom and other resources, and then they move on the next morning. I'd love to talk to them if that's something we ever consider doing, because they've got the experience and they could help us learn how to do it in a better way if that's something we decide to do. The closing service, as always, was great, as it is every time, as I just said, that I've attended. There were 3 ministers that day sharing the homily. The one that spoke the most to me was Reverend Sean Neil Barron. When he was younger and attending church, people said to him, "Why church?" As he got a little older, they said, "Why church?" Then when he became a minister, they quit asking. At church, he gave many, many reasons in his talk, but at church, we learn to take care of each other, we find joy, we find purpose, we learn and grow together, we find community, we celebrate, and we grieve together, and so much more. I believe GA will forever be a hybrid event. At least I hope it will be. The technology required for that will be improved over time, as we have here, and I think we're a little ahead of them, but it was a smaller group here. That and the lower number of people there were really my only disappointments. Overall, I found GA to be meaningful and inspiring, and I look forward in the coming months as we continue to build beloved community here at UUFNN. As we think about who do we at UUFNN want to be, what do we want to be, and how will we be together? I'd like to leave you with the question, why church?
Good morning, everyone. First off, I want to thank Reverend Karen and all of UUFNN for the opportunity to attend GA. It was because of financial support that I was able to attend, and ultimately, while there were problems and good things with it, it was ultimately a really beneficial experience for me. So I really want to say thank you for that opportunity. I'm going to be honest, while working on my comments for today, I struggled to describe what my experience was because it was mixed. Again, there were parts of it that were great, but there were parts of it that weren't. But to first provide some context for my experience of what I was like going in for me. One of my priorities this year has been healing. Like so many of us, we've experienced a lot of trauma in recent years. I have layers of trauma from the COVID pandemic, and then trauma that predates all of that. And so I've just been really working on healing myself. And one of the things that GA really helped me with was processing that trauma. It was through GA and some of their contact that I was reminded that being in relationship with others can help us let go of all the unhealthy beliefs and habits, such as normalizing trauma, thinking of the world as inherently dangerous and unsafe, and believing that no one will help us. And I also was reminded of the habits that I can adopt in place of that, such as being able to express my needs healthily, believing that we are all worthy, including me, and that it's possible to imagine a better, healthier world. And so GA really helped me this year release a lot of the hurt that I'd been feeling this year and I'd been carrying for so long. And it helped me reconnect with myself, my body, and loved ones in my life. And while there were these aspects of GA that were meaningful, I also felt frustrated by GA as a virtual attendee, because there were times it felt like virtual attendees were an afterthought. Before I dig deeper into these frustrations, though, I want to take a moment to extend some grace. I know holding hybrid events is challenging, especially at the scale that UUA did it. And I think it is great that they attempted it, because it helped make the event more accessible for everyone. And I think increased accessibility is always a good thing, and it is always an important thing to strive for. But having said that, I also think it's important to talk about how GA felt short, and in the ways that it felt short undermined what they were trying to accomplish. I specifically want to talk about general session, and it was hard to participate because I also attended as a delegate, and as delegates, we were able to join in via Zoom. And there were opportunities for conversation, but there was no structure in place, no mechanism to facilitate the conversations. And so everyone, when we went to chat, just entered their thoughts into the chat box. And so it was nobody really chatting with each other. We were told to have conversations with each other, but we weren't. Everyone was just putting their thoughts in the chat box. And it was hard to follow threads of conversations if they were happening, but they usually weren't. It was usually people talking over each other, people just really insistent on saying what they needed to say. And so I ended up feeling like an observer instead of an engaged participant who was actually a delegate serving my congregation. And it was also disappointing because, as I've heard, one of the great things about GA is the ability to connect with other UUs across the country. And that was not one of the ways that I could do that. And so it was a downside for me. But as I said, I also got a lot of really good things out of it. I got some healing from it, which was really important. And so to close, I want to again thank Reverend Karen and all of the congregation for the opportunity to attend. Even though it was a mixed bag, it was still a positive for me, and I am grateful for that opportunity. Thank you.
Hi, and good morning. My name is Ciumara Rodriguez, and I have to say I had a hard time putting this together, because as much as I was honored to represent you all at the General Assembly, I also felt very lonely while attending. Originally, I was supposed to attend the assembly in person, but life took over, and I had to attend online. I did understand it might present some difficulties, but I never thought it will make me feel the way it did. My experience definitely was not like Jackie's. It was totally different. First, I have to say that I felt privileged to be a delegate from this congregation to the GA. And the election system at the GA, which made me feel really good to represent you guys there. It was great to see how our democracy could be put to work. I did enjoy all the performances and the music and the speakers and everyone. And the presentations, the issues, all the speakers, and especially the closing service. It was amazing. What I did not like was the fact that I felt I was not part of the group representing this organization. I had no idea who was attending. Maybe it was my fault, but I had no idea, and maybe the same way I did not know, maybe the rest of the group did not know I was attending, so we did not communicate with each other, something that might have been helpful when it came to voting. I also felt that this assembly was geared more towards people that were present than those of us that were online. As a person online, I follow all the instructions provided, which is rare for me to do. Considering that I spent 20 years in the service, I still have problems following instructions. I joined several groups, but only one group really reached out to me, which was at the end good because it was a group representing the delegates, and we were able to discuss the issues and questions, which gave me a perspective of what to do so I could be a better representative of this congregation. But to be truthful, during this assembly, I truly felt like an outcast. As much as we talk about unity, I did not feel that. I felt extremely lonely, and at the end, very frustrated. If the Assembly is planning to do multi-presentations again, I think they should put more attention to those of us online. And for this congregation, it would be great if we made it possible for those attending the Assembly to get together prior to the event so we could talk about the issues and how to vote. To finish, I would like to thank all of you and Reverend Karen to giving me the opportunity and the honor to represent you at the General Assembly. Thank you so much, and have a great day.
Ain't technology grand? I couldn't join services in person today, but here I am, larger than life, plastered across the wall of our lovely great room. I'm Adrienne Fisher, and I had the opportunity to attend my first General Assembly of UUs in Portland this June. And as a lifelong educator, I've attended many professional conferences, so I thought I knew what to expect, and many things were familiar. Things like the long lines to get coffee and the long lines for bathrooms, the camaraderie with folks when you're waiting in line to get into a popular lecture, or the kindness of strangers, like the young woman I met from Las Vegas who invited me to go camping with her when we realized we're both from the great state of Nevada. There were also some unexpected things that I didn't anticipate, and I wanted to talk with you this morning about some of those. The first one being that I think the thing that meant the most to me in having the privilege to attend GA this year was being able to form a stronger bond with Liz Motter and Jackie Reilly. Liz is a former member, I know many of you know her, and she now lives outside of Seattle, and she drove down to GA in Portland, and Jackie Reilly and I rode to GA together, and then stayed the week in a VRBO, and what a blessing it is to have an opportunity away from all of the worries of home and life to be able to spend time with two amazing, wonderful women. So I think that having that time with Jackie and Liz was a very touching and something I won't soon forget. Just the bonding that goes on that I wouldn't have had at any other point in my life. So for that, I'm thankful that I got to attend GA in June. Some things that inspired me while I was there that I was really blown away by. The Roe v. Wade decision was announced on the Friday of GA, and being that it was Portland and the community that Portland is, they immediately organized protests and rallies. The UU people had an entire room set up that we were creating posters and organizing how to get to the rally, and it was so grassroots and so spontaneous and so well organized. I was greatly inspired. When we went to the actual rally, there were thousands of people there. The speakers were wonderful, including UUA's own Susan Frederick Gray, who is the president of the UUA. She spoke eloquently about how this is going to impact our young women and our country as a whole. And so I was inspired to be not afraid to speak out. Some things that surprised me when I was at GA, the diversity of the members who came to GA. There were people from all walks of life, and I was happy to see that UU as a national organization attracts lots of folks who don't look like me, but maybe share some of my beliefs. And I wanted to really take away some things that would inform my presidency this year. And I think the biggest thing I took away was that I want to achieve a balance between my need to grow spiritually as well as maintaining my desire to support our need for social justice. I don't have all the answers for what that will look like, but listening to Susan Frederick Gray in her conversation with the Ware lecturer, Ibram Kendi this year, was that as UUs, we often struggle with the idea of moral conscience and that we don't have the ability to morally persuade everyone to believe what we believe and understand what we understand. And so centering myself and making sure that I am growing spiritually so that I can continue our fight for social justice in our communities was something that was really on my mind. And I share that with you, as something very personal. So I enjoy conversations. If you're feeling the same way, it would be great to talk, maybe in person, maybe on Zoom. And Reverend Karen, thank you for the opportunity to attend GA this year. I look forward to seeing all you on a future Sunday. I'm often in worship in person, so come by and say hi and enjoy Sunday services. Bye. Talk with you soon.
Yesterday, this space was overflowing with people and with spirit and with celebration of the life of Ann Hansen. That was a lovely service and tribute to the amazing person that she was. And so we want to just be together in that spirit that lingers so strongly from yesterday. Spirit of life, ground of our being, spirit of love, mystery. We come to these moments touching whatever it is that is on our hearts, whatever it is that we are holding on behalf of ourselves and on behalf of other people today. And so we continue to hold Matt Hansen and Alex, all of those who are feeling a sense of grief and loss of our beloved Anne. And we send out our love and our strength to all of those who may be experiencing loss, to those who are having difficulty finding a sense of direction, to those who are struggling with addiction or depression. We also send our love and our courage and our energy to those in a time of new beginning, to students and teachers and administrators, those beginning new careers, those retiring, and to all those who are finding their way. We celebrate our joys together and our milestones. And we take these moments to connect with what is uppermost in our hearts. And those who are on Zoom this morning are welcome to record what is on your heart in the chat. And so we gather our worries, our fears, our intentions, our dreams, those things which are held in such deep places, maybe we have no words. And we gather them together and hold them in the heart of love. And we offer our customary gesture one to another, one hand on the heart, palm extended forward, extending our energy as our way of saying, I see you, I hear you. In whatever it is that we journey, we are all in it together. Blessed be, and amen. I want to thank you so much for joining us for this morning's service. We're glad that you're here and hope that you are receiving something that perhaps you didn't even know that you needed from our service today. Just a couple of announcements. Please do engage with our email. There's weekly email. There's lots of information there about things that are oncoming and things that we're engaging with. And I wanted to let you know that a special request has come to us, and that is there is a dire need in our school district to help refugee families have transportation for students going to school. You know, there's a dire need for bus drivers, so buses are not running many of the routes, probably most of the routes. Refugee families have a really difficult time with that. And this has come to us from Megan, Dennis Conley's daughter, who works with the school district office. If you can engage with that need at all, would you see Dennis today? Dennis, give a big wave. And then we will put Megan's contact information in our emails that go out this week. If you can help with that effort, that's a huge need in our community. And then I wanted to share with you this morning some very exciting news with our congregation. Over the last week, we have thoroughly vetted and interviewed a candidate for our Director of Faith Exploration position, formerly Director of Religious Education. And we have extended an offer, and the offer has been accepted to Nathan Bakken, who has recently moved here and is a graduate of Boston School of Theology, brings an incredible amount of experience, activism, education experience, a great passion for education. Nathan will be starting on Tuesday already, and so Nathan will be here and will introduce themselves to you next Sunday. So I could not be more pleased and excited. Yeah. You're going to enjoy getting to know Nathan, and I'm going to enjoy working with Nathan as a fellow staff person. So we look forward to our own new beginning on that journey this coming week. My very favorite Emma's Revolution song is I Will Stand. Let's join together.
In the warmth of your presence, I acknowledge I'm safe at home. In the warmth of your presence, I am safe. I will stand. I will stand. I will stand. In the deepest
I will stand in the circle with the circle in me. Wherever it is that we go from this place, we carry this circle with its strength, courage, inspiration, love, and connection, for we are never alone. And beloved, know that you are a spark of love in the universe. May it become a fire to nurture your spirit and then be lavishly flung forth to change our world. Blessed be, amen, and namaste.